All right, so we're going to be setting up our digital files for our travel editorial piece. And so the last time we looked at this, we set up these paragraph styles. So these are from our last class where we set up paragraph styles for our days of the week, our times of the day, our subheads, our body copy. And like we learned the week before, last week, when we did our activity on paragraph styles, we learned that if we had some type within a paragraph that needed to be treated differently, and a lot of us have type inside our paragraphs that are giving information that might need to be italicized, for example, we'll need to make character styles that are going to, character styles that are going to address bolding something in our body copy or italicizing something in our body copy. So do you all remember how to do that, or should we do that one more time together? Anyone can answer. Okay.
Yeah, one more
Thank you,
time,
Zion.
please.
All right, so character styles. So here's our character styles. We're going to go ahead and open up the pop-up window for character styles. We're going to select a new character style, double click on that character style to open up the options window. I'm going to call this bold. And I'm going to go to basic character formats. And I'm going to go to font style and choose bold. That's all. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to have a font style bold and say, okay. I'm going to go ahead and do another one. I'm going to say another one, double click on it. And this one is going to be italic. None, based on none. Basic character formats. Here I'm going to change it to not bold italic, just regular italic. You guys are probably seeing it. Normal italic, there it is. All right, italic. And then I'm going to say, okay. So now, if in my, any typeface, doesn't matter what typeface I'm using, if I need something within my body copy, my paragraph style to be bold, I just select it here on the character styles, and it doesn't affect the rest of my, there's the italic, and it's not affecting the rest of my paragraph style. So you notice how there's no little plus made next to the paragraph style. That means I'm not changing the anything about the paragraph style. Paragraph style is going to stay exactly how it is, which is regular, and just the words I need to be in bold or italic are now going to be bold or italic. Okay. So you want to set those character styles up. And you can do more. That's just, whatever you like. All right, so that is all set up. So the next thing is we want to avoid having a million little boxes on our page. So I shared with you last class that I broke the headline I'm doing into 3 boxes. And I did that because I want to do something really decorative and funky and fun with my headline. So I'm going to, for that, I needed to break them into different boxes so I could, play with them in 3 different sizes, and they're in different baselines and all that fun stuff. So that's fine. But when I get down to bringing in all my copy for my magazine, I don't want to put every little thing in its own box. We definitely want to avoid that. And so we want to go into our type tool and just start out by creating a box, just a regular box. I'm going to go to File, Place. And then here, I'm going to go into my, you're telling it where to go. So I'm going to say, I got to think about where I put this. I'm in OneDrive, project or page. Graphic Design 2. Go into my projects folder. There it is. Travel editorial. 36-hour copy. Do Tulum. All right, I'm going to do Tulum. All right, so there's Tulum. I'm changing this from Cork to Tulum. All right. All right, so I'm going to probably take out my headline out of this because I am going to have my headline separate. So I'm going to take that out. Notice how there's a bunch of formatting in here. So there's a couple things I want you to see right away when you bring in your copy. I'm going to just make it a big thing. There's a bunch of formatting in this. There's some hyperlinks, all kinds of stuff. I'm going to select all of this copy. I'm going to go to type first off and say show hidden characters. I'm doing that because it's going to show me, as you see, I put this big space here. It's telling me wherever there's a hard return. Let me zoom in so you can kind of see what this does. When we say show hidden characters, I can see where it puts a paragraph symbol everywhere there's a hard return for paragraphs. There's 2 paragraphs. And it kind of shows you if there's any extra spaces, it's going to show me that. It's going to show me where every hard return is, any other formatting that might be in this document. And so I want to see that. Another thing we can do is go select all. Type. Let's see. I gotta think about where. Oh, you know, I think I'm thinking of something else. So let's just stay with hidden characters on right now. So the next thing is what I like to do right off the bat is take all of it just to simplify myself, go into my paragraph styles and make it all my body copy. Now I want to hide, it has other formatting. I want to override any formatting. So option click to clear. So I'm going to hold my option key down and I'm going to click on it. And that's getting rid of, this is where I want you to do this, to get rid of all of that other formatting, hyperlinks, bolds, all of the things that it's doing, like get rid of all of that. Any color that it might have added, and that just pulls it all into my formatting. So you can see the difference. So let me undo it. So before I did it, you can see this is a different size. You can see there's links, highlights, links, all kinds of things were happening. All I did, and there was a plus next to my paragraph style. I hold the option key down and I click on that, and that got rid of all of that formatting. And it's all cleaned up, all of the copy. Okay, you have to have it all selected in order to do that. But now I have just my plain copy. I still have my hidden characters on, and I encourage you to work that way so you can keep track of hard returns. So, for example, I might not want 2 spaces there. There's 2 spaces, 2 hard returns there. I don't know. So let's just look at it as, so I have it all in one box. So a lot of us, our instinct is to start cutting it apart and putting everything in separate boxes. I want you to resist that urge. And I want to show you how we flow copy into a layout. So let's start with our front page. So this is my, excuse me. This is my first spread. I'm using the rule of thirds as my design grid. And I've decided I'm going to have this first page be this big, awesome picture is going to be in the background. I don't have it yet, but it'll be there. And I'm going to lay out my copy really, it's going to be awesome and all over. And this time. All right. So that's just going to be all on that side. So I know I'm going to have my body copy over here on this side. And I have a little, I've kind of taken I have all my copy in this box. Everything's in here. But I just wanted to get a feel for how much body, copy I had for that intro. So here's my intro text. There's a subhead here that's been separated out in the text. So I'm going to actually, for this one, pull this out separately because I'm going to do something funky with it. So I am going to take that, cut it out, create a new copy box, and paste it here because this is something I don't want it to flow with the rest of the text. I want to keep it separate because I'm going to make it very different. But I definitely don't want to do that with all my body copy once I get going. So here is my grid. And I want to make sure when I'm laying out my text that I'm thinking about locking it into the grid. I think for me, I want to keep it in the center. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And I want to pull this over. And I want to make my subhead that's talking over here. I want this, I'm going to select all, and this is going to be subhead, or maybe not. Maybe this is going to be, I want to play with the same as this. And I haven't made up character style because this was just my headline, but I want to copy this hours in. So I'm going to take my eyedropper tool and I want to match it to this hours in size. So I'm going to select it, the eyedropper tool, and it's going to automatically take this text and match to whatever I use the eyedropper tool on. So that's a great little trick when you want to copy some type treatment that's somewhere else on your page. So I'm going to play with this and say, okay, is this going to work the way I was thinking? Kind of want it on 2 lines. It's a little too big. So now I can play with how do I get it to work? Just reducing it. Select all. Let's go the opposite way. Let's go bigger. I want to get Mexico's River Maya on its own. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to play with starting it on the, I think I want to use it in this top third section. I think I want to play with this up here on the top third. Now I wanted to still work with my baseline grid. So I'm going to go into my paragraph settings. I didn't realize I didn't have that. Paragraph styles, not styles, just paragraph. Paragraph, there we go. On my other screen, there it is, paragraph. And I want to just adjust and get this on the baseline grid. So on the paragraph, and this isn't a paragraph style. This is just a intro text. I'm going to lock it over here in that lower right-hand corner. I can lock it into the baseline to keep everything still working on the baseline. And I'm going to keep it in my top third section of my layout. Okay. And I'm going to let it cheat this margin a little bit right here. It's right on the edge. Maybe I'll make it down to 40. I don't have to cheat it as much. There we go. Okay, so here I have this up in this top section. I've decided I'm going to have my body copy down here in the bottom. I'm going to actually make it in the bottom corner. And then I'm going to have a full bleed image, which is going to be of some gorgeous beach in Tulum, which is going to fit the full spread like this. And I'm just going to make it a subtle color right now, just to show you where it's going to be. Object, frame, send to back. Okay, so that's where my picture is going to go. And then here is my body copy. So all of this to say, okay, here's my body copy. What do I have here? What is this called? The word here is doing what on my body copy? Who can tell me? It's the first one who can put it in our chat. What do we call this? Is anyone with me? Or have you guys all gone to make a sandwich? Close. A widow would be alone at the top of the next column. What's left at the bottom? An orphan. So this is an orphan. So to fix this orphan, this poor little guy all by himself, I'm going to make it grab like a good amount, like a whole sentence and a half, essentially, to pull him back next to the word settled. And I do that by selecting all of this. And then I go to my tracking. My zoom stuff is in the way. Okay, and that's up here on your toolbar, because of course I'm working in my typography workspace. So that means up here, I can just one click, bring the word here, and it's now tucked in with the rest of the type nicely. See how nice that is? Now I have this little red dot that tells me, guess what? You have all the rest of the copy still in this type box. That's great, and that's what I want. So then that's the end of my spread. So that's spread one. I'm going to click. And now you see how it's loaded my cursor with all of the copy. I'm going to come over here to my first spread. My second spread, sorry, my second spread. And I'm going to start laying in a text column. And I'm starting in my second, in the second row of my modular. This is my modular grid. And then I can see Saturday starting there. So I'm going to stop my copy right there because I want it to end at Saturday. And so, but then now I can start formatting all this text. So actually, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to bring it all the way down so I have room to format the text. Okay, so when my text all comes in, I have it all in one box here on the page. I want to go in here and start selecting the items and putting them into their paragraph styles. So I have my paragraph styles set up, and I'm going to start with days of the week. So there's my Friday. And then time of the day. I'm going to get rid of this number 1, like we've talked about. I don't want that. And then I'm going to choose my activity subhead. And notice how when I choose activity, it's changing the days of the week. And when I choose days of the week, time of the day, time of the day, it's affecting that whole line. It's because this paragraph style, they're right next to each other. There's no hard return. So if that is what you have yours designed like this, where they're right next to each other like this, you're going to need to create one as a paragraph style and one as a character style. So for example, let's say I decide that I want all of my subheads, and there's going to be other subheads. So let's say I'm going to make the subheads this version. But my times, I don't want to be that bold. I want them to be a lighter font. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to go into my character styles. I'm going to create a new character style. And this one's going to be called time of day. And I'm going to go into my character formats, and I'm going to choose all the things that I have this one set up as. So I'm using Font Family Meta Pro. And I was using the light. And I'm using the size, which is the same. Actually, I can, yeah, I better make it this, put the size at 9, especially if you're changing the size. I'm going to keep the letting at 12, preview it. And so now I can preview it. I turn the preview on and I can see, okay, yep, that's what I want it to look like. That's my time of day character style. So say, okay. So now I can say, I can have them sitting side by side, even though they're different weights and they have different things going on. And then I might want to decide to add a space between things. So like I want Friday to maybe Friday has 2 spaces and I move Friday up. So maybe I decide, okay, actually I want Friday sitting up here. And then we will start 2 spaces before I start the first activity. And then maybe I want an extra space between that and its body copy, or maybe I don't know. We can kind of explore that. You can add those in and you can see where you're adding them in. I want a space between the last line and the next activity. So here, let's try this one. So here we go again. I'm going to take out this 2 because we know we don't want it. I'm going to choose the whole line and go ahead and put it in the paragraph style of activity subhead. And then I'm going to choose the time and choose the character style time of day. So now they're fitting nicely together. Now, as I'm looking at my copy, I might want to do something like highlight perhaps names of places. I don't know, maybe there's something I want to highlight. In my character styles, I can choose to highlight a place that we're going to go that's kind of highlighting the place that they're talking about. Maybe I want to do that. I want to read through. Here they're referencing Gilligan's Island. I don't know, maybe I want to make that italic. As decorated by Stevie Nicks. I'm looking at what else is in here that might be. The room is draped in kind of specialty pendants made from polished coconut shells. What you want is the zucchini carpaccio. Yes, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then here we have another, what is this called when it's all by itself?
Orphan.
Zion, do you know it?
Is a orphan, right?
I don't hear you. Some of you guys can hear me. I can't hear you, Zion. Did you try to say something? I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and take -10 tracking to pull it up on the next line. And then now I'm going to return Saturday. So I'm going to zoom out now just to give you an idea of what that's looking like. And then here's another place I want to highlight. So I'm going to maybe select that and go into character styles and make it bold. So anyway, you can go through, and it's important to read the copy and look at what you can pull out of it and highlight. So that is the way I've styled now my first, and it's so, see how fast that was because I had these character styles and paragraph styles set up. So once you have those set up, this setting it, bringing in the type, all of that copy, it is going to be pretty easy. So now I know I have 2 items on Friday, and then the next thing is Saturday. I don't want to start Saturday down here at the bottom of my page. So I'm going to just close up my box, click on my red arrow, and start up at the next top of the page, and then start my next body text frame. Notice how each item isn't in its own frame. I'm putting everything in frames based on the columns. And I can make them as long as I need to be. And I might even, obviously we have images too. Let me get rid of this. I might start Saturday over here. Maybe Saturday isn't even going to be on this page because I have all these images I need to add. So are we all understanding how to bring in your copy, keep them in columns, and when you're done with one column and formatting it, then moving up to the next one and starting the next one? And continuing going, okay? Any questions? All right, I'm going to stop here and then I'm going to check in with each of you. All right.